We all have those moments where we think, man, I wish I'd known that sooner. Life has a way of teaching us things the hard way. But what if it didn't have to be like that? Today, we're going to dive into 6 powerful rules for living that, honestly, most of us only figure out after we've made the mistakes.
I mean, really think about that. What if you could get a cheat sheet? A way to sidestep some of the biggest hurdles and heartaches just by understanding the game a little better, a little earlier. Well, that's what this is all about, getting you that wisdom right now so you can start building a better life today.
So, here's how we're going to break this down. Think of it like we're building a house, okay? First, we have to lay a solid foundation. Then, we need to protect what's inside, and in this case, that's your mind. And finally, once all that's in place, we'll get into how to master your day-to-day.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1, Building Your Foundation. These first couple of lessons are the absolute non-negotiables. They're all about your physical health and your physical space. Because let's be real, if you don't have these two things sorted, everything else is just way harder.
Okay, lesson number 1. I know, we've all heard this a million times. Health is wealth. It's such a cliche, right? But it's a cliche for a very, very good reason. We just take our health for granted, especially when we're young and feel invincible. You never appreciate being able to breathe through your nose until you have a head cold, right? It's that simple.
So, let's make this real. Here's a choice for you. Would you rather have all the money in the world but be too sick to get out of bed, or have a modest life but be in perfect health to actually go out and enjoy it? I think for almost all of us, the answer is a no-brainer. Your health is the currency you use to experience, well, everything. So, what's the secret to protecting it? Well, it's not really a secret at all. It's the boring stuff we all know we should do. Get some sleep, go outside, move your body, lay off the junk food and the booze, manage your stress, and maybe, just maybe, stop doing obviously risky things. Every single one of these is like putting a deposit into your future health bank account.
Now for the second part of our foundation. We have this idea that self-control is all about willpower, right? That you have to be this super disciplined person who can resist anything. But that's not really how it works. The real secret to self-control isn't about having an iron will. It's about building a smarter environment.
And here's the strategy, and it is beautifully simple. Step 1, you make your bad habits harder to do. You add friction. So if you want to stop eating so much ice cream, just don't have it in the house. The effort of having to go to the store is usually enough to kill the craving. And step 2 is the opposite. Make your good habits easy. Put a water bottle on your desk, and guess what? You'll drink more water. It's that easy.
Okay, so our physical foundation is solid. Now it's time to turn inward. This next section is all about protecting your mind, arguably your most valuable asset of all. We're talking about your thoughts, your energy, the whole shebang.
Lesson number 3 deals with something we all struggle with: authenticity. There's this crazy paradox where we think that if we just fit in, we'll feel connected. But if you're just putting on a show, you're only going to attract people who like the character you're playing. And that, my friends, is one of the loneliest feelings in the world. The only way to find your people is to be you. And if you think you're immune to social pressure, well, check this out. This is a famous experiment from the 50s. People were brought into a room and asked a really simple question. Which line on the right is the same length as the one on the left? The answer is pretty obvious, right? It's C. But there was a twist.
See, everyone else in the room was an actor, and they were all told to pick the wrong line. And what happened? A staggering 72% of the real participants caved to the pressure and gave the wrong answer at least one time. That's how powerful our desire to fit in is. It can literally make us deny what we see with our own eyes.
Which brings us to lesson 4. We understand that our bodies get tired, right? If you spend all day moving boxes, you know you need to rest. But we completely forget that our minds need rest too. A day spent deep in thought, or studying, or dealing with complex problems can be just as draining, but for some reason we feel like we should just push through it. But here's the thing you have to understand. Not all rest is real rest. Mindlessly scrolling through your phone or binge watching a show might feel like you're relaxing, but you're actually just distracting your brain by pumping it full of more information. True rest, real mental recovery, happens when you let your mind wander. Things like taking a walk, having a shower, or doing some boring chores. That's when your brain finally gets a chance to breathe and sort things out. All right, we've got our foundation built. We've secured our minds. Now for the final section, mastering your day. This is where we take all that good stuff, that physical health and mental clarity, and actually apply it to live better, more effective lives. Let's get into these last 2 lessons.
Lesson number 5 is a total game changer. I promise you. It's this: manage your energy, not your time. Forget the clock. We all have these natural cycles, right? Times of the day when we're sharp and focused, and times when we feel like a zombie. The trick is to stop fighting that. Instead, you align your most important, brain-draining work with your natural energy peaks.
And the results, they speak for themselves. When you start working with your body instead of against it, something amazing happens. Your work hours can go way down while the quality of your work goes way up. Seriously, imagine getting 80% of your most important work done in just 2 hours of peak focus. It completely changes your work-life balance.
And that leads us perfectly into our final and maybe the most important lesson of them all. When you really think about it, what is a great life? It's not some far-off magical destination. A great life is just a string of good days, put together one after another. If you can figure out how to have a good day consistently, you will have a great life. Period.
But look at the trap so many of us fall into. We slog through 50 weeks of a job that makes us miserable just for 2 weeks of vacation. That's trading 96% of your life in misery for just 4% of enjoyment. The math is just insane when you look at it like that. The whole point should be to build a life that you don't feel a constant need to escape from.
So here it is, the big takeaway. It's not about the mountaintop moments or the huge dramatic events. A truly great, happy life is built in the small moments. It's built on the consistent, quiet joy you find in your everyday routine. Master your average day and you've mastered your life.
So we've gone through 6 lessons that people often learn way too late. But of course, there are so many more. The learning never really stops. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. What's a rule that you live by?